Hi guys, welcome back to my corner. I'm your host Carrie, and today I am joined with my friend Simba.
Eh? Oh,
Me and Simba, we work together. Thank you for coming on.
no, thank you for having me.
Of course, of
No, I
course.
appreciate it.
Funny enough, me and Simba just realized that we're neighbors.
That is true.
So
Yeah.
like, yeah, like literally like 3 minutes away, and
Yeah.
had no idea.
That's true. Like I was just saying, like when I searched your address, I'm like, oh, she's only 3 minutes? The way I took my time to get here. It's like, it's funny how that works, right? Yeah.
People them,
Yeah,
people them.
100%.
That's fine. Ain't no judgment.
Oh yeah,
Literally, when you said that. I mean,
yeah.
all day I was telling him, I was like, okay, this time,
Yeah. Yeah.
this time. So
Yeah, so like, oh, well, 5 o'clock. Okay, sorry, 6 o'clock. Like I said, I mean, I'm going to the gym. I'm going to get my car clean, and then I'm gonna go do groceries. And then how you message me at 4? I'm still at the gym.
I was gonna say, I did
Eh,
none of that other than go to the gym.
I'm like, you didn't do nothing. But that's fine. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Why not talk?
That's hilarious. Okay, so Simba,
Yeah.
you get to be partaking in my first new segment,
Okay.
right? And it's called "Say It with Your Chest."
All right.
All right.
Oh,
So,
should I set up like this? Okay.
hey, however you need to say
All
it.
right, say less. Okay.
So, with this segment, how it works is one, I will let you just if you have anything you want to get off your chest, anything that's been bothering you, hot take, whether it
Oh, don't
be
open that. Sorry, go on. Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
on social media,
Okay.
whether it be something that happened at work,
Mm,
personal life, just something
mm,
you see that's like an ick,
mm,
like just get it off your chest, but you can say it with your chest,
mm-hmm.
okay? And then afterwards, I'm gonna ask you a hot take question and
Okay.
get your opinion,
Okay.
and we'll go from there. Okay?
Okay.
So, floor
Yeah.
is yours. Do you have anything you want to get off your chest?
A lot.
Let it
Because
out.
I'm like, wait, wait, because when you asked me that question, I just had a sudden rush of thoughts and things that bother me, and it's like, when someone asks you a question and immediately you have answers, but
Yep.
it's like, okay, where do I start? It's like, what is it? What can I fully say with my chest that bothers me?
Yep.
Um, okay, since I'm in this new season, right? Since
Okay.
I'm in this new place where I recently found myself, not recently found myself, but I'm single, right?
Yeah.
And learning to embrace this part of me in this season that I'm in, and enjoying it for what it is.
Yeah.
Truly love it. Um, so I recently decided to stop dating,
Okay.
right? And thank you. Only because when I was in the grunt of things and trying to meet people, talking to people,
Yeah.
the kind of conversations I was having
Yeah.
weren't really beneficial to my growth, right?
Sure.
And the kind of people that I was meeting
Hmm.
wasn't really helping. So my situation, when you talk about like say it with your chest, right,
Yes.
is dating apps. Okay,
Ooh. Ooh.
dating apps are, for the lack of a better word, whack. Um,
Period. Period.
You know what? I mean, I tried. I was on Bumble.
Yep.
I shouldn't have never been on Tinder. Let's just talk about that.
Tinder is the new POF. I just want to say.
Yo, don't even bring POF. POF should not even be a thing.
I'm telling you.
Yo, and it's crazy to me. Okay, I know one couple that met on POF.
Same.
So,
Like, I think we all know at least one couple
that one
that actually
couple.
worked out. Same thing as
Yeah.
Tinder. There's always that one couple that worked out, but like,
So it's to me, it's crazy. So in Hinge, I was also on Hinge.
yep.
But just the people I was meeting, I didn't know. Like I guess maybe I've lived a bubbled or sheltered life where
Okay.
I didn't know people were actually kind of crazy.
Okay.
No, like the kind of people that I've met, literally trying to date online, and the kind of conversations that I've had, I had to sort of ask myself, like, what am I really getting out of this conversation? Why am I even entertaining such things? And I don't know how the algorithm works in terms of Tinder, Hinge, or Bumble,
Yep.
but the kind of people that you're meeting, even if I put like on my bio, okay, Christian man, I'm looking for a specific A, B, C, D.
Yep.
I'm in this, whatever it is that you put in your bio.
Yeah.
Then they give an algorithm, and everybody who claims to be Christian is not Christian. Everybody who claims to have fear of God, no, you don't,
No.
because the stuff that you're saying in the DMs does not show your Christianhood
They're
or
on
your
true
yeah.
demon time. I'm telling you, they're not. They're
Yo,
not.
yo, okay. For example, I was what you call it? So I swiped right on one female and we matched or
Yeah.
whatever. So we're talking. She's Christian. Yeah. Now here I am putting the air quotes. Anyway, she's Christian
Yeah.
according to her profile.
Mm-hmm.
So we're talking, get to know each other. So you know how things start. You're on
Yeah.
the dating app, you're talking the dating app, and then if things progress, you go into the phone number and everything,
Mm.
should you want to. So conversation was good,
Okay.
right? And at this point, I learned. So not just for females, but also for my dudes out there.
Yeah.
There's one girl that I did date, and she said something that stuck with me,
Oh.
which I'm gonna say now because it is relevant to men, not just women. Because she said that, and I get where women are coming from when she said this.
Mm-hmm.
So I asked her, "What are you looking for?" And her response was, "I was told to never give a man that answer because then, in turn, they will behave the way that I'm describing with the person that I'm looking for, when in
Mm-hmm.
fact that's against who they are, right?
Yes.
And then later on down the road, they show their true colors, and now I'm stuck in this relationship, da da da,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it doesn't only work one way. So I say this because this person that I'm referring to that I was talking to,
Mm-hmm.
because they're Christian,
Yeah.
they were really showing the values, the core values that I value. Like, they're saying all the right
Yeah.
things. When I told her what I was looking for,
Yeah.
she, she said that's who she was. Okay, so then the conversation progresses, and then I ask for a phone number. She gives it to me, and then we
Okay.
have our first date.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
All
Uh-oh.
right. So I go and have our first date, and we meet and we're talking. So off rip, I'm waiting.
Okay.
See when you said get off your chest, this story has a lot of issues.
Okay. Okay.
So
Are
okay.
we seeing the red flags popping up in my
Oh my
screen?
gosh. So
Okay.
like maybe this could be maybe you can have a take on this.
Okay.
So about if you have an agreement with somebody,
Okay.
if you're gonna go meet someone on a
Okay.
date, right?
Okay.
And you say we're gonna meet at 8 o'clock.
I'm the worst person to ask the
No,
question.
hold on,
Okay.
hold on, hold
Okay.
on.
Okay. 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 Okay.
Okay.
Okay.
So we meet so 8 o'clock is 8 o'clock.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay.
As a man,
Okay.
I believe,
Yeah.
feel free to disagree,
Mm.
but as a man, I believe I will go there ahead of time.
Fair. Okay.
Right. So my go-to, I'm gonna spill a little bit of flavor here.
Ooh, some game.
But
Some free
but so
game.
my go-to thing is I always go there a little bit earlier,
Okay.
and then I order, because I don't drink, but
Mm.
I'll order like mocktails.
Okay. Yeah.
So I do like two mocktails,
Yeah.
one for me, one for her.
That's
All right.
cute.
So then when she comes, there's already a drink on the table. Like, she can just take a sip, conversation starter. Like things are cool.
Okay. Okay.
All right. So I do my whole shtick,
Mhm.
get to the Mexican restaurant. That's where we decided to go.
Yeah.
I ordered the mocktails.
Okay.
The problem with the mocktail that I ordered was
Uh,
like a slushy kind of mocktail.
oh no.
All
Where
right.
this is going.
So it's there and I'm chilling.
Hmm.
So then after it was like eight had hit, so I'm not expecting her to be there at 8.
Okay.
I know I
Females.
know,
And then
I
it's
love
your
my women,
yeah.
but we know, you know, I'll leave it there.
I
So I'm
get
not
it.
expecting 8 o'clock, but she hits me up. 8 o'clock, yeah, I'm running late. I'll be there soon. Fair enough.
Okay.
What does soon mean to you? What? Now, let me just stop. What does soon mean to you?
Okay, if I'm waiting,
Mm.
I'm expecting like 10, 15 minutes.
Fairs,
Okay.
fairs.
If I'm saying it, depends. It could be like I could still be at home, but I
Yeah,
know I can drive fast. So I'm like, I could, it might be a 20-minute drive, but I can get
yeah,
there in 15.
fair.
Either way,
Yeah,
like soon. Like I'd say like no, like 20 is pushing it, but
yeah.
like no longer than 15.
So maybe this is where I saw a bit of I'll say my old self. Maybe when we get further into this conversation, I will reveal what that means. I found myself just staying there 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. So then I sent her a text message like, hey, is everything okay? Because now you're getting concerned. You don't know, right? I'm not trying to assume, sorry, that, she's just avoiding me or trying
Yeah.
to stand me up. So I texted everything okay. And then 5 minutes later, she's like, oh, yeah, sorry, I forgot something at home. We're doing the third, but I'm on my way. I'm coming. I promise. Please don't leave. This is her words.
Okay, okay, please don't leave. Okay, so she is kind of
So when you're please don't leave, you're like, okay, this is genuine. My girl showed up an hour and 10 minutes. So we're supposed to meet at 8 o'clock. She showed up at 9:10. So it got to the point where the waitress kept coming. Are you ready to order? Are you sure you want to order? You don't want anything? I can get you appetizer. She even offered me a free appetizer. She thought I was getting stood up because she's like, it's okay, I can get you an appetizer, just something to eat while you wait. It's on me. Don't worry. It's on me. And I'm just sitting there like, cool, 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 cool.
Oh.
But anyway, so back to the drink that I'd ordered. It's water
It's
now,
water.
right? So and then you can see like when a drink when it's frosty and begins to melt,
Mm.
obviously the
The
water,
condensation.
yeah, it's that
Yeah.
condensation's there all over on the table. And I'm not wiping that. I want you to see that,
See my pain.
like, you know, the condensation happened because of you. Like I want you to see that.
You're the problem.
You know what I'm saying? So anyway, so she came apologetic. We hugged, but it's more like Arthur Fist. So,
Wrong.
so now, but, so we hug,
Yeah.
right? And then we talk and we have a conversation. So we had a great conversation.
Okay.
She told me who she was,
Yeah.
this and the third. I'm like, cool. She's like, want to have a second date? I'm like, yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, I'll be down. I'm like, make sure you be on time next time, though. And I'm just joking around now because the conversation was good.
Sure.
And she's like, oh, yeah, no, sure. I'll be good. Don't worry. So as I'm talking to her,
Yeah.
this is after the date now. I'm talking to her.
Okay.
Her phone's going off. Phone going off.
Hmm.
Yeah, phone going off.
Okay.
So I'm thinking, oh, someone's looking for her. No,
Mm.
whatever. And I'm like, oh, well, she want to get that. She's
Yeah.
like, oh, no, cool. Hang up. No problem. We keep talking. Phone come off again. Like, we look at the phone, you look at something,
Yeah.
and you know you're supposed to pick that up. Like, when your mom calls you and you're like, ah.
You're
Yeah.
thinking. You're thinking. Yeah.
So that I can tell, like, the
Mm.
minions are working up there. Like, they're trying to think, should we pick this up or not, right?
OT.
You know what I'm saying? So she's like, so she's like, nah, I'm cool. I'm like, are you sure that looks important? Like,
Mm.
you pause for a second, clearly.
You need to take
You need to
this.
take that phone
Yeah.
call. So she's like, no, no, it's fine. Phone rings again. So now she's not been looking at the phone. Now she's just
She
sliding
knows
it
who
off.
it is. She knows it.
Yeah. Now she's just like, turning it off. And I got to a point at the end of the date, and I'm like, okay, whoever it is, clearly there's something wrong because they need to get hold of it. It could be an emergency. Take your call.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
And then she's like, she gets the phone. She's like, oh, sorry if you don't mind. I'm like, yeah, she gets the phone. So she goes outside. I pay for the bill. And then we go outside. So I go outside and I'm hearing having an argument. She's fighting. She's like, and then the words I'm hearing are like, so you thought you could, sleep with her and I can't go out with the next man? And I'm like, and then now back to why she was late.
Hmm.
So it's like, oh, so when I was talking to you earlier, telling you I gotta go on a date, and then you tried to pull me back into the house to have sex with me, bro.
Oh, what in the Jerry Springer? What the Heliante? Like what?
When I tell you, this was my mind was just spinning. Like, it's like, is this real life?
Oh
Is
no.
this real life? Am I really experiencing this?
Yeah.
And so outside of whatever her core values were, if you're having issues with somebody and you're still connected to that person, why are you trying to go on a date with me?
100%.
Why are you here?
100%.
Like, even if I met you on the app and you're saying, "Oh, I'm going through something with someone, I know I'm looking for," cool. I'm done because I'm looking for something real.
You know what these dating apps need to bring out? It's complicated. You remember when Facebook used to, you remember in
Facts.
high school
Yeah.
where they'd be like, it's complicated. And like I
Yeah.
used to make fun of people who would put that, but
Yeah.
at least they were honest.
That I agree. Going back, anyways,
Mm.
I just walked away. I'm the type of person where if something like this is a conflict and it
Mm.
affects me directly, I will address it.
Yeah.
But if it's something that is happening outside of my control
Yeah.
and I can protect my peace and remove myself,
Mm-hmm.
I'm 100% going to do that.
100.
There's
100%.
no reason for me to engage in a conversation with her
Yeah.
while overhearing that kind of conversation. What am I going to say?
Damn.
What kind of conversation are her and I going to have?
Like what can she really say too though? Like
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just having a conversation with my man. I hope this is like this. I ran through that in my mind. I'm like, there's no conversation we can have where I'm willing to stay and
like I said, this is
stand.
okay.
Yeah, and be like, oh yeah, I can have a second date even though you're having issues with your man's. So immediately, I just made a left turn. Like I looked at her, heard it. We out. Got in my car. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
it's okay. And I just donated $130. That's fine. It was a donation.
Another
Salute
spoon
to
for
the
the chef.
chef. That was like the camel.
The
What's
straw
saying? The
that
straw
broke
that brought the camel's
the
back because I'd gone on so many dates. And I got to a point where I don't know if this happens to everybody with all these dating apps. You
Yeah.
kind of find yourself entertaining a lot of dates, entertaining a lot of people that you don't otherwise or wouldn't otherwise entertain
Yeah.
just because you're on this search trying to find your person.
Yeah.
So I got to this point where I realized I was going on these dates with these women that I wouldn't necessarily have anything in common with
Mm-hmm.
because I was just trying to find a connection,
Yeah.
right? And I remember I dated this one girl, and I told her after a date, sorry, woman, that told her after a date, and I said, I don't think you and I are going to work.
Yeah.
And then her response was, so you're not even gonna date me a few times to see there's a connection? And then I said, no, I am not, because immediately from our conversation, I
Mhm.
heard what you stand for, which is cool. I respect it, but it's not what I'm looking for,
Exactly.
right? And so I think there is a problem where if you don't find that person or that thing that you're looking for, if you don't stand with your values, you
Mm.
then drift off into looking for a connection. And
Yeah.
then you find yourself dating people that you wouldn't otherwise date for the sake of connection.
Yeah.
So that's when I was like, for the sake of my peace, I'm cool. Deleted
Mm-hmm.
Hinge, deleted Bumble,
Yep.
deleted Tinder,
Yeah.
and I
We love
said,
that.
you know what? I'm in a single season. I'm
Yeah.
cool. If I meet her, it's gonna be out here.
Exactly.
It's not going to be
Organic.
on no app.
Yeah.
Don't get me started on Tinder, man.
I'm
Tinder
telling you.
and some of the things that people write in their bios. It's like not looking for anything serious or I'm looking for fun.
No strings attached.
Yeah, no, but it's like I'm looking for fun or I'm open for a relationship. And I'm like, so you ask them, oh, what are you looking for? Oh yeah, I'm just looking for fun, but if anything happens, like I'm cool. Like, what does that mean?
I feel like those people are lying to themselves. The people who say like I'm open to a relationship, they actually want a relationship, but they at some point in their life were jaded because they liked someone and that person
Hmm.
shut them down because they weren't ready.
Hmm.
And so now like out of fear of rejection again, they're just like, I'm not looking for nothing, but like
Yeah.
if you want something, I'm open.
The more that I stayed in that environment
Hmm.
of trying to find a connection, you begin to use the same words as other people do. You begin to not necessarily think the same way, but you just use the same verbiage. You just begin to say, "Oh yeah, I'm looking for a serious relationship, but I'm just trying to find what's out there." And I said, well, "Bro, what are you even saying? What does that
Right.
even
It's
mean?"
not even you anymore that's speaking.
Yeah.
It's just like a you become a product of the app. Is
Exactly.
what it is.
It's exactly because the
Yeah.
more you talk to people, the more it's like when you put yourself in a new environment
Mm-hmm.
and then you just adapt to that environment, whatever it is that's going on. For
Mm-hmm.
example, I was going to a Nigerian church
Yeah.
in Toronto and I grew up in that church.
Yeah.
So, and majority of the time they spoke Yoruba, right?
Mm.
So I began to speak Yoruba. I
No
was singing. I
way.
could still sing Yoruba. I'm
Really?
Zimbabwean,
Yeah.
but I can sing in Yoruba. I don't necessarily understand it fully, but if we're having a conversation, like I can pick it up. And
Really?
then their mannerisms and their culture,
Mm-hmm.
I began to pick up those things as well.
Yeah.
And I realized the difference. Even though we're all African, we still have different cultures.
Yeah.
So I remember when I was in my church, it's customary that if an older woman is sitting down
Yeah.
and she calls you,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of who you are, man or you, especially if it's in the church,
Yeah.
you kneel down and you talk to them.
Okay. Yeah.
You speak to them. If you're giving them something, go into their, like, match their level
Yeah.
and talk to them, right?
Yeah.
Which was cool. But then I remember I went to Zimbabwe, and because I grew up in that environment of the church, that's my day in, day out.
Yeah.
I was in Zim, and then one of my grandmother's sister,
Mm-hmm.
so she's like my grandma,
Yeah.
she asked me to hand her something. So I
Mm-hmm.
remember I went and then I knelt down and gave it to her.
Mm-hmm.
And then one of my boy cousins, he's like, "You kneeling down for a woman?" And then I was like, "Wait, what?" He's like, "You just give it to her." He's like, "You don't kneel down, but she's older than me."
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "Oh no, that's our custom is not that way. Like you just
Yeah.
give it to her. It's different." So now I realized that I just became a product of the environment that I was in, which is
Absolutely.
nothing wrong with that. So back to the dating apps, I realized again I
Yeah.
became a product of these dating apps and the conversations that people have because some people have been on these apps for a long time. So like now, if I was on this apps for months
Mm-hmm.
and I find myself talking to people and find myself using the same language because it almost becomes a game.
Yeah.
It's like how can I get the most beautiful? Or how can I get the woman that I connect with the most? That
Yeah.
it's just like what can I say? What can I do? and then there's a list of YouTubers and
Yeah.
influencers that tell you how to speak to women, how to talk to women on apps and things like that.
Yeah.
But then you fall into all of that,
Yeah.
right? Because you're desperately looking for this connection.
Yeah.
So I decided, no, let me just close myself off these dating apps.
Smart.
So I got to that point where I realized, you know what? These are all the same.
Yep.
Although you can find better quality conversations on Hinge versus Tinder, because Tinder is just a joke. Let's just put it out there. Anybody on Tinder, you're not serious,
Telling you, it's a modern day POF.
bro. You're not
And if you're
serious.
serious, get off before you turn to like a Tinder zombie. Because honestly, people become exactly what you said, products of their environment.
Mm-hmm.
When I was single and I was on the dating apps, I had a very unhealthy relationship with love and loving myself and
Mm-hmm.
like what actual healthy love looked like. So I just thought, okay, well, now that I'm old enough, I'm just gonna go on the dating apps because how else am I gonna find people or meet people?
Yeah.
I mean, I started POF because that's what was out when I first started Tinder. Tinder actually, I don't think was really a thing, or if it was, it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't as popular yet. I went on it and I mean, I didn't find anyone from it, and I mean, POF was sketchy then. I can't even imagine what it is
Yeah.
now. Yeah, so there's that, and then I didn't last long on that because I was like, this is weird.
Yeah.
This is actually one story that traumatized me. And then I was on Tinder for a bit, and again, when I'm a newbie, I was just like, okay, whatever. And like, thing is, I'm also really scared of being killed in like the serial killer ways. Like, you
Facts.
hear these stories, you
Mm-hmm.
see these things, so it's like I was always scared to go on dates and like I'm always like trying to vet people out and like I'm not gonna lie, there's been a couple times where I had my best friends like not come in the restaurant with me, but I'd be like they drive me and they're like, "Okay, I'll wait in the car until you're done," and they'd like sit and stake out just to make sure I was okay. Point being is I found I started talking to like these people like when I
Mm-hmm.
first signed up I was like, hey, well, I know I want to meet someone and I want whatever, and then by the end of it I'm just sitting there settling for bare minimum, and the people I'm meeting or talking to aren't people I would even entertain, like
Mm-hmm.
in the day to day, or like I wouldn't even look at.
Yeah.
And I was like, I gave myself the ick. And even when I think about the people that I have been in relationships with, a lot of them I actually didn't even meet online. It
Mm.
was just either through work or through
Yeah.
like more organic ways.
Yeah.
And so then there was a good chunk of time where I was off dating app. And then it was after like my last ex
Mm-hmm.
before my current partner. I remember I went back on the app and then I'm on it and I'm seeing people who like I saw like when I first signed up for Tinder and I'm like, damn, you're still on this app. But then I'm sitting there and I'm like, they're probably looking at me like, damn, she's still on it.
Yeah.
And then, I went through my healing journey and I was like, okay, like I need to be in my single season. I wanna start doing things. Cause also you kind of were touching on it. I found that I was like going on dates just for the sake of going on dates. It was a game, and I was like, I'm not even meeting or hanging out with these people because I actually want anything with them.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I think I was like a year into therapy, maybe not even.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was just like, I'm spending all this money to try and better myself.
Mm-hmm.
I can't truly better myself if I'm still doing the thing or something that is causing me harm. So I was like, we're just gonna
Yeah.
cut off the dating, and like if I am going to meet someone it's organic. Even then I was like, I'm going to be 100% just like forthright with them, be like, okay,
Mm.
this is what I want, this is
Yeah.
what I'm looking for, these are my standards, these
Yeah.
are my boundaries, and I'm not willing to settle. If you're not into it, that's fine, but don't waste my time.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I met Mikna,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, listen, I'm gonna give it to you straight. I ain't gonna waste your time. I
Mm.
don't want kids. I want marriage. I want to build a family. You gotta like. I want a man that has a like. Anyways, I'm going through my list,
Yeah.
and he's kind of just like, oh, okay. But at no point was he like scared off, and he's like, well, yeah, like I want those things too. And I kind of was like,
Wait.
wait, what?
Yeah.
Because I was so used to like almost rejection. You know
Yeah.
what I
But it's
mean?
amazing with your story is that sometimes the person or somebody who you're gonna connect with the most finds you in a moment where you're almost like done.
That's when I booked my single trip where I was like, I'm gonna solo travel. And then as I had the trip booked, I'm like, I'm just gonna go travel. I'm gonna do my thing. And
Yeah.
and then we start dating. And then I'm
Yeah.
like, I remember I told my therapist, I was like, I mean, I really like this guy and I really want to go far and I finally think I found my person.
Mm.
But I'm about to go leave on a solo trip and like, is he gonna be okay with that? And blah blah blah. And she's like, well, like he'll understand. And obviously he did. I went on my trip and it was
Mm-hmm.
great. But again, I was in my era of like me, me, me. I'm gonna do what I want. This is all for me.
I like what you said. You mentioned location because I remember I had my one of my best friends.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever she was dating at the time, I was with my ex, so
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't dating. But when she was dating, she was going on dates like every weekend.
Hmm.
she would always hit me with a pin. It's just a sense of safety. And I'm always that person that want to make sure the person I'm talking to, they feel comfortable.
Love.
And then another thing you brought up was that how you were just doing the same thing, even though you know you don't want to do it, but you do it for the sake of doing it. Coming from my identity
Yeah.
of Christianity, so I always try to speak based off that the values. Paul says that those things that I don't want to do that I do, and things I want to do I don't do.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm paraphrasing, of course. I'm not really
Yeah.
going
Yeah.
word for word, but it's just a sense of saying that sometimes we find ourselves doing the things that we know are not good for us. We know there's things that we shouldn't be doing, but
Yeah.
and yet we do it. And there was a podcast that I listened to where a man suggested that think of all the things that you look and you value
Yeah.
in a woman
Hmm.
and become that person. Like gravity is a real thing, and have that magnetic energy. That's a real thing.
Oh, aura, like
Yeah.
your energy is
Oh, it is real. You will
so real.
attract the things that you put out there.
You are what you attract.
Exactly.
Like it's
So if you're putting out those values,
yeah.
you will attract those values.
Yes.
And I found myself, the more that I spoke about my identity of being a believer
Yeah.
of Christ, I found myself meeting people
Who
that
also?
also on that journey,
Yeah.
right? So it is a real thing. So I said, if this can be true about this part of my life,
Yeah.
it can also be true about this other part of me trying to find my person,
Yeah.
or the person I'm trying to be with. So let me get off these apps. So for anybody that cares, I'm single.
Here
Oh, God.
I'm a link. Well, yeah, because you're on social media.
100%.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah.
be social media. Like
Yeah.
I'll be vetting, okay?
Facts,
None of
facts.
y'all raggedy aggy ends, okay? Unless you are healed, working on yourself,
Yeah.
okay? You are a
Facts.
believer and a follower of Christ,
Mm.
okay? And you better look good too. Don't be
Mm.
coming here
Mm.
with like
Tell him.
a wig sideways and lashes half falling off. Like, come correct,
Yeah.
and then I'll pass you along the
Oh,
way,
yeah,
okay?
yeah, 100%, 100%.
We're gonna wrap this segment up,
Okay.
and we're gonna dive into the next one.
All right.
Okay, so we are now going to jump into segment number two,
All right.
into the body yaddy.
The body eye.
Into the
Okay.
body yaddy.
All right.
Okay,
Yeah.
you tell who created the titles. Okay, Simba.
Yeah.
So this month, because it is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, my goal is to just bring awareness, and I want to have different conversations with just different people, different walks of lives, different journeys, but especially from the male perspective, because as a female,
Hmm.
I recognize that you men go through a lot. And that's not to say we women don't either, but like you men go through a lot and unfortunately aren't given the same space to be able to express it, especially in a healthy way.
Hmm.
And mental health, in my opinion, is one of the biggest, worst pandemics that we are dealing with worldwide. And it breaks my heart to know and see how many men struggle with mental health issues and don't either feel like they have a safe place to be able to express themselves, or even further to that, know how to. Your mental health is a massive umbrella of everything else. You know what I mean? How you feel
Hmm.
mentally will translate into your friendships, into your physical health, into just how you view yourself and how you operate day to day.
Yeah.
All right. So for me, it's important. Health, being healthy is important no matter who you are,
Yeah.
no matter what you call yourself, what you identify as. But again, because it's Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, I really want to just like pay homage to the men, because at the end of the day, like it takes two to create a human.
Yeah.
We need not only just good mothers, but good fathers. We
Yeah.
need good role models, good uncles, good brothers, good cousins, good grandfathers. Like we need good role models in this world,
Yeah.
and we need to see healthy examples. All right, so my first question for you:
Hmm.
what is your definition of what it takes to be a man, and how has it evolved over time?
Very great question. So I'll speak personally.
Okay.
Being a man is weird. Technically, I feel we're not allowed in certain areas. We're not given the space, like you rightfully said, to be fully expressive of our emotions, or else you're seen, quote unquote, as a punk or as a bitch.
There was less than, which is
Exactly,
stupid.
which is it's not cool.
Yeah.
But anyways, what I view to be a man is that you're a man is one that you're a provider, you're a protector. Because one thing that I say about myself is that if I'm with someone, her and I can both be panicking,
Yeah.
right? If she's panicking, I personally need to make sure that I remain calm.
Hmm.
regardless of the situation. The house will be burning down. We're
Yeah.
losing everything.
Yeah.
I need to remain calm.
That balance.
Yeah. I need to make sure that I'm the pillar for her. So men are viewed as the knight. What women would rather see a man
Mm-hmm.
depicted as a knight on a horse. They'd
Mm-hmm.
rather see you die on that horse
Mm-hmm.
than get off and be with them in the corners hiding. They'd rather see you fighting on that horse and
Like
die on that,
sacrifice yourself.
sacrifice yourself on that horse. And that is how men are seen. And to a degree, I believe throughout time that has changed. But as a man, you're supposed to stand in those grounds as a protector and as a provider. You're supposed to be the pillar of your family. You're supposed to be a spiritual leader. You're supposed to lead your family. You're supposed to lead a leader in
Yeah.
general. And that has changed with the influence of society. That has changed over time in the sense that there's a whole movement of people trying to diminish the value of men, trying to diminish what men actually do in the background, like the hard work that men put in the background, the
Yeah.
plumbers, the construction workers, the pipe fitters, the whatever it is, the hard labor job that normally you wouldn't do. We are silent fighters. We are not people that are openly expressive with our emotions. We make sure that the person or the woman that we're with, they have that outlet
Yeah.
to express who they are, and we take it all in as a man
Yeah.
and hold it in, and then we're supposed to hold in our own as well. The difference with nowadays is so the man that I'm depicting, the man who's strong, a provider, spiritual leader, the man who leads his family, the man who stands for the core values. So that is the man that I value, the man that I want to be.
Yeah.
And when I say spiritual leader, as a man, you're supposed to lead your household. You're
Yeah.
supposed to stand as the Bible teaches us. There's God,
Mm-hmm.
there's your husband, and there's your wife.
Yeah.
So as your wife submits to the man, you're supposed to be a man that is worthy enough for a woman to submit to. So that's why I agree with a women in the sense that they say, "Oh, you want a woman to be submissive, but how can you submit to a bum?"
How can I be submissive to somebody who's like beneath me more or less?
Yeah,
Or like, you know what I mean? Like what am I submitting to?
yeah,
Like,
no, no, 100%. So
yeah.
if you are a man that stands in the core values of your belief, you stand in the core values of understanding what actually means to be a man,
Yeah.
a woman, she will submit. Sure,
Naturally.
naturally. Even
Naturally.
if she is like a boss, she could be a CEO of a company
Yeah.
running shit for thousands of like coworkers.
Absolutely.
She'll come home and submit
Yes.
because you give her that sense of safety, security, and she
Yes.
feels protected.
Hearing you say that is just like, I mean, music to my ears because I'm just like, ah, finally something that's it. But at the same time, it's so true because it's like I look at myself and I know that I can be very, like, if you want to use the term alpha, I
Mm,
can be very alpha, especially like at work or just in my own life. You know what I mean? Because I have my business and I'm always go, go, go. And like, I just, the way how my brain works, I'm like, ah, I'll just take the lead, like, blah, blah, blah. But I don't always want to be that way. You know what I mean? I don't always want to take control or take the
yeah,
lead.
yeah,
And then especially when I'm home, it's nice to be able to just come home and like just not.
yeah.
And sometimes I even actually funny enough, me and Meek and I had this conversation. I think it was last night or the night before, because we were talking about when I was doing my little solo trip and I was in Greece and like he had called me and because he had my location and so and I'm on the phone with him and he's like, okay, babe, well, obviously I have a bird's eye view because I'm like seeing your location. So like turn left, go right, go yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, cool. And so we were talking about that and he's like, babe, you would have still been in Greece now if it wasn't for me. And I kind of laughed and I was just like, well, and long while I was just
Yeah,
like, yeah, yeah. But I was like, babe, I was just like, I'm very resilient. And I was like, I promise you, I would have gotten my way out. I would have figured it. Like, sure, it would have been a little bit of like, but I
yeah,
would have gotten my bearings and I would have got my way out. But it was nice to just have someone take control and be like, hey, I got you. I love to be in that submissive nature. I love
yeah,
to be in my feminine energy.
yeah,
And there's so many women that I talk to that they all say that. They're like, man, like I want to be like in my feminine energy.
yeah,
Like I want to have a man that's just going to take control, plan dates,
yeah,
like be like, hey
yeah,
babe, don't worry, I got it. Or if I'm stressed out, like, you know, can come in and fix that. It works both ways. Like it's not just on the men and it's not just on the women. Like
yeah,
sometimes women need to learn to just shut up and let a man lead, but
yeah,
at the same time, a man has to know when to step up and actually lead.
yeah.
So
Facts.
you need both people who are willing to do their part, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And
And I agree with that because so it's not to say that when I'm talking about the man that I'm describing. It's not to say that, oh, I make all the rules, you should have no input. What I say goes.
Yeah.
No, because if you're a real man, your woman will always be your advisor. She would always have an opinion.
Yeah.
It's on you to listen, to take heed of that opinion and that
Hmm.
advice, and then ultimately decide what to do. The thing is, you may not even see the things that she's seeing.
Yeah.
You may not understand the ways that she understood.
Yes.
So if you're saying that I'm gonna do something one way,
Yeah.
and then your woman tells you, "Nah, babe, maybe look at it this way." I'm like,
Yeah.
"Well, no, that makes sense.
I
You
never
know,
thought
I
of it
never
that
thought
way.
that way." So
Yeah.
then the decision is yours,
Absolutely.
but she has opened a new light to another way you can look at the situation.
Um,
But what has changed, to go back to your original question, is that most men have lost themselves in the idea of a high value man, right?
yeah.
The definition of a high value man, I found that as I did more research, it differed on the individual.
Okay.
Some men just thought, okay, I just get my money. I said I don't need no woman. I don't need to be with anybody. Every woman is a cheater. Every woman is not deserving of me. Like I just need to make sure I get my millions and I mistreat women and I
Yeah.
treat women how I want. And I'm like, that is all nonsense. The real definition of a high value man is a man that I'm describing, a man
Yeah.
that is integral.
Yeah.
Integrity is a big thing.
Yeah.
There's a man in the Bible that I always pray that I want to be like. His name is Boaz.
Yes.
Boaz, for those who don't know, was married to Ruth.
Mm.
And from the beginning of the book of Ruth to the end of it, when he finally marries Ruth,
Mm.
the way that he is described, he is a man that is integral through and through. He
Yeah.
is a man that stood on his morals and principles through
Yeah.
and through. He never made a decision without adhering to God, without getting a spiritual enlightenment of where to go next.
Yeah.
And he never put himself in a position to do anything that was against the law that was ordained by God,
Yeah.
right? So he was just a man of integrity. So when I look at what a man is and who a man should be, I think of Boaz, and I think of the strength and the that he has within himself because of that foundation and the
Yeah.
core values that he has. So being high value is just an understanding that you're a man that understands who you are,
Yeah.
understands your position in life, understands your position in your values and your beliefs,
Yeah.
and you're not swayed by the decision making of others, the temptations of others, not
Yeah.
derailed by the society that tries to influence you in any which way, because you
Yeah.
have things that you stand on.
Yeah.
10 toes down. You stand
Yeah.
on that.
I love that. Okay, let me get into my next question
Yeah,
for you then. All right, so we both work in the oil field.
yeah.
And for those who don't understand, so me and Simba don't work for the same company together, but we work at the same site. The place that we work is, I think it's fair to say, like male dominated. But when you get in a male dominated workplace, sometimes toxic habits start to form. So, how has toxic masculinity shown up in your life or the lives of men around you? And I know you kind of touched on it a little bit with like the high value I'm doing the
Yeah,
quotations too,
yeah,
but like the high value man and
yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about because
Yeah.
like the Red Pill podcast and it was kind of this wave that got super popular within the last like I don't know 2 3 years of essentially like a couple guys and they have a bunch of girls on and they kind of demoralize them more or less and
Mm,
you know what I mean
yeah.
and unfortunately people took one concept that
Yeah.
was trying to start as something good and
Yeah.
to build men up and like of a community and unfortunately kind of took a toxic turn and so now
100%.
it's just like let's all just hate women and again it's the world we live in things get skewed how for you how has toxic masculinity show up and then I'll kind of share for myself how I've seen it.
Yeah, it has shown up in many ways in my several walks of life. I've
Mm-hmm.
met a lot of men that have gotten to a point where they begin to blame their misfortunes on women instead of doing the work that you'd have to do as a man and finding out the actual truth of what it means to be a man.
Yep.
They instead look on the women that are rejecting them and say, well, all women are dumb. All women are this. All women are that. I'm a real man. I'm who I am. And
Mm-hmm.
you got to love me for me. You got to like me for me. And to a point where that mentality, it grows in their minds and they think they're so masculine to the point where they begin to mistreat women. And the one thing that I hate is how men often judge somebody just by their physical presence.
Yeah.
Men will put a lot of women in boxes before they even begin to talk to them to know who they are.
I should get this off my chest. Like, that triggered. That was a trigger alert
Oh,
for
the trigger
me.
alert?
Oh
Oh,
my
my bad, my
goodness,
bad.
because like people like to put people in boxes
Yeah,
and like to assume that like they know a whole person just from what they see.
yeah.
When I was heavier,
Hmm.
okay, so let's say 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I was 100 pounds heavier. There were people who would treat me a certain way, and they would put me in this box, and they would either fetishize me or they would assume that I'm unhealthy or I'm not making healthy choices or whatever. And then there's people who I've even at work that now that I've lost weight, I can see they've now put me in a different box.
Fact.
And a lot of that has to do just with like toxic mindset. And I won't even just blame it all on
Yeah.
men, but it's people in general. Like we love to put people in boxes and then we like to keep people in those boxes. And then unless they basically force their way out of those boxes, then we're like, okay, well, let me find a new box to put you in. Unfortunately, there's also some, not unfortunately, fortunately, but unfortunately, there are so many amazing people that just get written off
Yep.
because they don't fit someone's messed up idea of what they should or shouldn't be.
I don't want someone to misunderstand because there's a difference between having values of what the person you want to be with
Hmm.
and judging somebody for who they are. If the person, if you get to know them and they're who they are, that's fine.
Hmm.
You just know what you're looking for. But it's not on you to judge who that person is. And
Yes.
that's what becomes toxic in the sense of the man's understanding. Because some men, and I hate to say this, lack emotional intelligence. They really lack the ability to speak calmly. Sometimes I look at one of my boys and I'm just like, how have you not learned to just remain calm? If she's screaming and panicking, and then you're screaming and panicking, who's hearing who?
Thank you. Thank you.
There's nobody to hear anybody,
Two wrongs don't
right?
make a right.
It is not.
For me, again, like at my workplace, it's majority men.
Mm,
And so I see toxic masculinity. Now that I've worked on myself more, I'm able to kind of step back and be like, okay, Carrie, it's not you, it's them. We're not
mm,
gonna like internalize this. We're not
mm,
gonna retaliate.
mm,
It's sad. Like I have one coworker and he'll shut down anyone's idea of a man needing to show emotion. And I know part of him is just like kind of just trying to be funny, but like behind that funny, and this one deserves the air quotes, is it's it's hurt, you know what I mean?
mm,
And he refuses to deal with it. And because he opened up to me about a situation that he had and why he feels that way, because the one time he felt like he tried to do that with a partner, he got turned down, and then it
mm,
kind of instantly stonewalled him up. And so when I hear him say that again, it at least allows me to be like, okay, I understand why you're saying this or like
mm,
whatever. But at the same time, it's like you have other people, you have these young guys who might be looking up to you, and then they hear you saying this, and like it might not even be how they truly feel, but because they want to be one of the boys or they don't want
mm.
to seem weird or not fit in or whatever, they just go with the flow.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, you do become a product of your environment. So even though to a core you might not agree with what you're hearing or saying, you're around it enough and you fake it till you make it
Yeah.
till it becomes part of you.
Yeah. One thing I love about women is that y'all talk to each other, like for the majority of the time. I realized that as we were talking,
Mhm.
sometimes we talk about, oh, if you have, as a man, if you have the right woman
Yeah.
in your life, she will give you that open space for you to express yourself. I
Yeah.
have been a beneficiary of that with my exes.
Yeah.
I haven't been with somebody who hasn't given me that space
Yeah.
to open myself, thankfully.
Yeah.
But in the same sense, us as men, we should also be open with each other. Like, if I'm having a difficult time talking to my women or talking to any woman,
Yeah.
I should be comfortable talking to my boy. If from amongst my boys,
Mhm.
I should be comfortable enough to tell at least one of them, like, my guy, I'm not good right here.
Yeah. I think that people need to understand that like you need one to be able to appreciate the other. And so when I say that is, for example, I'm feminine. I like to be feminine. I like to be in my feminine energy.
Do it.
But I still need a little bit of that masculine energy because that's what gives me my drive. That's what gives me that ability to work hard. That's what gives me the ability to stand up for myself and like be assertive and be aggressive in a healthy way when I need to.
Hmm.
And those are traditionally masculine traits.
Hmm.
And it's the same thing vice versa. Like, and unfortunately so many men aren't given that ability. It's like you guys still need to be able to show emotion. You
Yeah.
still need to be able to speak calmly and to be able to have disagreements or be able to like express how you're feeling or your
Hmm.
dislikes or your
Hmm.
frustrations and do so in a way that still protects though your manhood. I'll be honest, like I like my men masculine, and so no, do I want my do personally me as Carrie want to have my man or my partner uh like in his feminine energy and again almost being more submissive and like not allowing me
Hmm.
to, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It has
true.
nothing to do with crying. It has
Yeah.
nothing to do with having
Not to
emotions or showing it.
crying.
It doesn't, because so
Yeah.
many men are scared of crying and I don't know why. For me, for my partner, like seeing him be vulnerable with me, seeing him feel safe to be able to share that
The
with
safety
me,
there. Yeah.
I see him more as a man
Yeah.
because it's like you are brave enough to stand in your emotions and to feel what you need to feel and not only feel that but share it with me,
Hmm.
your partner, your other half. Unfortunately, there are women out there that'll sit there and shame men, and to those women, shame on you. Stop doing that because you are creating a toxic generation. There is
Hmm.
nothing wrong with men crying. There is nothing wrong with men showing
Hmm.
emotions. You need both. Both people, men and women, need both in their lives to be able to have that healthy balance. Both men and women have both hormones in their body.
Hmm.
Men have female hormones in
Hmm.
their body.
Hmm.
Women have male hormones in their body. When you have an imbalance is then when you start seeing issues. And when the scale is off till, that's when you kind of got to look in and be like, hey, like what's going on? You know what I mean? That's when you got to start doing some work. Look at a child, okay,
Yeah.
boy or girl.
Yeah.
If a boy falls down, scrapes his knee, or a girl falls down, scrapes his knee, what do? They cry
Hmm.
because it hurts.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Hmm.
And nobody shames them. So why is it now that when we're adult, if something hurts, it's okay to cry? Like I had a guy at my work tell me that like when his parent passed away, he refused to cry because he had just been so conditioned to like not allow himself to feel
Yeah.
that he wouldn't even allow himself to physically let that tear fall. Humans cry when they are hurt
Yeah.
because that is a normal thing.
Yeah.
So let's just address that and stop that narrative right there. Man, I need that stigma to break. I need that, like, that is the toxic masculine trait that
Yeah.
I want to end.
That's how people want men to be, or that's how women want men to be, and then some men feed into that,
Yeah.
and they begin to believe that's how a man is supposed to be, and then now you bottle everything down, and then now you begin to release this aggression at different sources at random times because you haven't had the ability to deal with his emotions, or you haven't been given an outlet to express those emotions. Some men just need to, and women need to stop forcing men to be robots,
Yeah.
and men just need to be honest with themselves and say, okay, I need an outlet. I need to let this out. I need to talk to somebody.
Yes.
Because once you begin to do that, that toxic masculine energy begins to diminish because
Thank you.
there's no aggression that is bottled up because you've let it out.
I'm telling
You
you,
know?
like, I'll talk to the guys at work, and again, it's majority guys, so like, I'll have some of you guys like talk to me, and then I realize like you're not talking to each other like that, but y'all have been best friends for 18 years. Why can't you have that conversation? Because like you have friend A and friend B. I
Hmm.
talk to friend A about something, they open up to me. I'm like, damn, okay. I talk to friend B about something, damn, okay. Friend A and B refuse to talk to each other, and I'm like, y'all sat here and told me the same damn thing, and y'all opened up to me and y'all have been
Yeah.
friends for way longer. Like I just met you because I've
Yeah.
only, you know what I mean? So it's like, why can't you guys talk to each other? And
Because they
it's
fed into that energy, right?
absolutely, and it's
That's what it is. And now they believe that about themselves. And I've all these men believe that about themselves. Me and my boy, me believing that a man shouldn't cry or show emotion, and him believing the same thing.
yeah,
I can't go to him and be like, "Yo, my guy, I'm feeling this," because I'm like,
I need to cry.
"Yeah," I'm like, "What? What? You're a man. Stop." Because
Right?
now we're sharing this belief that was pushed on us to who we're supposed to be.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it's good. Like, be strong, yes,
Yeah.
but at the same time, like, be masculine, be strong, be assertive, be the guy. But at the same time, don't be afraid to express a little emotion.
I think true strength is putting that stigma aside and putting those like the nonsense and noise aside and being like, you know what? This is me. This is who I am.
Hmm.
Take me as I am. Take it or leave it. and accept me for it. You know what I mean? And it's just like that is true strength. And
Yeah.
again, that to me is way more
Yeah.
masculine than
I
like
believe that.
someone who just follows what the rest of the people are doing. Like, ooh, you're a sheep. Ooh, you're so attractive. Like, no, the hell, like, be a leader. Like,
They're sheep.
really
Yeah.
though,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
there's so many sheeple walking around, and men
Yeah.
and women.
Sheeple. That's a
Sheeple.
word.
That is a word.
Sheeple.
Word of the day.
Okay.
Sheeple.
All right.
You know, you can think for yourself. And I said it in one of my previous episodes. We are the own our own main character in our own movie.
Facts.
Okay? But too many people are sitting there letting other people play that main character role in their own
Mm.
storyline. You are the own main character, so think for yourself and do what works for you. And you know
Yeah.
what? What works for you might not work for Tom or Harry or whoever, but
Yeah.
that's fine because that's their life, that's their story, that's their situation,
Yeah.
and you are you.
Facts.
So
100%.
yeah, I know. I think people need to just lay off the stigma and all of that, and
Yeah.
just
100%. Let
be
men be men.
yeah, like be
Absolutely.
human.
Let be
Like
human. Yeah. Let men be human. That's
yeah,
there. That's the
yeah.
word. Yeah.
Let men be human.
Yeah.
Okay, Simba. We are now gonna get into the ties and the tangles.
Ties and the tangles. Okay.
Yes. Okay, so ties and tangles. This segment
Talk about this.
we talk about relationships, but it's
Okay.
not just about intimate relationships.
Okay.
It's familial relationships, it's friendships, it's coworkers, it's anything. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Okay. So,
Mhm.
question number one, how comfortable are you with being vulnerable in your relationships?
Mhm.
And that's again romantic, platonic, familial. Like, how comfortable are you with being vulnerable and showing, coming as you are and being emotional?
For me, it depends with the individual.
Okay.
Regardless if okay, I'll speak of friendship first. If it's a friend, it
Mm-hmm.
would have to be somebody that I have built a deep connection with,
Okay.
because they're friends and then they're acquaintances,
Mm-hmm.
right? And they're actual best friends and then they're close friends,
Absolutely.
right? But speaking of my two best friends,
Mm-hmm.
I have a best friend that is a female
Yeah.
and another best friend that is a male. The male is like a brother to me. So it
Okay.
goes past even just the bond of a regular friendship.
Mm-hmm.
We grew up together, so I have a deep connection with him. So I'm very comfortable being vulnerable with him and telling him everything. My female best friend is like my advisor. She always gives the best advice.
Yeah.
So regardless of what I'm going through,
Yeah.
whether I'm going through a relationship or if just mentally drained, or if
Yeah.
I'm going through a depression phase, I can call her, and she just has a way of lending me an ear so that I can let things out. It might just want to rant,
Yeah.
like she just lent me an ear, and she's like a sister to me. So I'm very comfortable sharing with those two people. Now, when it comes to my personal relation, like having a partner,
Yep.
I'm very comfortable up until I get an understanding of who the person is,
Okay.
right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not just gonna right off the rip just, oh, I'm going through this.
Yeah.
No, 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 because I need to know the person that I'm dealing with, I know the person that I'm talking to, right?
You gotta build.
So yeah, we exactly work up to it, we build up to it.
Mm-hmm.
And if I feel an open space of communication, it for me it also depends on how the communication is going. If I'm talking, she's being receptive,
Yep.
she's listening, she's looking at me like you're looking at me, you're listening. So if
Yes.
I can feel that this person is actually hearing me,
Yep.
and most men, that's all we just need to make sure that this person is hearing me. Whether it's like the little things, I talk about my day in the littlest way. I tell you about something fun that happened at work
Yep.
or an experience, and I can actually tell genuinely you're listening.
Yeah.
That adds up a lot into my trust in you with the
Yes.
deeper stuff that are affecting me.
Yeah.
Then that way I'm able to slowly open up,
Yeah.
speak more about actual deep issues that I'm
Yeah.
facing, and then be vulnerable. So I am very comfortable being vulnerable up until I've built that connection of communication. But if
Yeah.
you're not receptive, then I know how can you handle the big stuff if you can't even listen to the little stuff?
Stop. Why did you literally like take the word? I've said that before.
Yeah.
And no, like 100% to what you were saying in terms of like, A, you need someone to not only just hear you, but understand what you're saying.
Mhm.
Like with what you were saying with that, where it's just like, if I can't trust you with the little things, why would I ever even think to trust you with the big things?
Exactly.
It's exactly that.
Yeah.
It's why would I open up and pour my soul, bare my heart to you if even little tiny trivial thing, you refuse to take that seriously.
No, 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 100%. And yeah, to that point, I agree with you with everything that you said. So I always try to make sure that the person I'm talking to in a relationship, they're receptive. Because
Mm-hmm.
to dive a little bit deeper, I had an ex that I dated for, it's gonna be bad for me to say, 8 years. In the 8 year of that relationship, when I had like deep conversations, I didn't feel like she was being receptive to what I was saying. Like she'd be there listening, but it almost felt as if I was just saying things out loud and then just for the sake of saying them, but
Yeah.
I wasn't really getting a any. Sometimes I'd look for feedback and I wouldn't get it. Sometimes I'd look for advice, I wouldn't get it. But there's days, yeah, when I'm not looking for anything, and she was good in the sense of, just like, oh, it'll be okay, right? But at the same time, I did find myself that I was still finding ways to be vulnerable. But even with the little things, she was easily distracted. Like, I'd be talking to her, oh, look at the billboard. And I'm just like, I'm talking to you. Who
Sometimes
cares about the billboard, eh?
yeah.
So then those things affected me, and as they build up, you begin to realize, okay, I can't confide in this person for the rest of my life.
All right. So my next question for you
Mm-mm.
is, do you feel men, and you kind of touched on this already,
Okay,
but we can dive a little deeper then.
all right.
Do you feel men are given the space to express themselves fully in relationship?
I feel with the right partner, they are.
Okay.
Men, we are visual creatures.
Mm-hmm.
So we will, obviously, the first thing that captures your eye when you're looking at a potential partner
Yeah.
is the physical attributes.
Yeah.
And you begin to follow that person to try to talk to them, you get their number, you talk to them, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get to know them. Sometimes you may stick with them because of their physical attributes,
Mm-hmm.
not necessarily the character, the content of their character.
Yeah.
And then you find yourself in a relationship with somebody that is toxic. You find yourself in a
Mm-hmm.
relationship with someone you're not supposed to be with, and then you don't have an outlet where you can express yourself, and then now you become aggressive, and then you fall deeper, deeper into this toxic masculine energy that we
Yeah.
spoke about. So with the right partner, yes, you can definitely have the outlet and the ability to express yourself and tell her how it is, how you feel. So it's all stems from the beginning. Who are you trying to be with,
Yeah.
right? Because if you're just focusing on the outside and not necessarily the inside, you find yourself in a situation where your inside are not going to be heard.
I love that. And I agree, like I really try to work hard in ensuring that my partner has a safe place or feels safe to be able to express themselves and be vulnerable, however that may need to manifest or look. And we're all human, you know what I mean? So
Hmm.
like there are moments where like I do something and I don't realize how that might have affected him, and then when we have a conversation down the road, he says, "Well, actually, babe, when you did this, like it actually kind of makes me not want to feel safe to be able to say this to you," or and I had no idea. And so then I'm like, oh, okay, like I didn't recognize that. I need to change my approach, or I need to change how I handle this situation
Hmm.
so that way you feel safe. I try to, as a woman, and that's just me, to work on creating that safe space so then that way my partner feels that they're able to express themselves
Hmm.
vulnerably. I think it's just so important as women to have conversations with your men. And I know that we tend to be the more emotional creatures, and we're all up in our feelings and our emotions and our hormones, but at the same time, like again, emotions are a human thing. It's not just women. Women do not
Hmm.
own emotions. So therefore, men are allowed to feel. Men are allowed to
Right.
have emotions, and they do. And they
Yeah,
have very real emotions, and they're going through shit.
we do.
And so as a woman, we also need to remind ourselves to like create that safe space. At the end of the day, like you need to be able to nurture your partner to know that like it is okay and you are safe with them. It's tough because I've seen it on both hands. Like I've heard women even say like, no, like blah blah, like I don't care, like you should figure out how to deal with it. And it's just like, bro, you're the problem.
Hmm.
But at the same time, there are also women who I've met that are saints, and they're like, yeah, no, I have like weekly sit downs with my man, and we're like, hey, how can we grow? How can like what's going good, what's going not good, like blah blah blah. So
I love that. That's cool.
yeah, and so that's where it really comes into, again, also just like making sure that you're with the right person and
Hmm.
with somebody who is healthy themselves. And I won't even say healed or whole because we should always strive to be better. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? The
Yeah.
minute you put a limit on your growth
Yeah.
is the minute you've already done yourself a disservice.
Exactly.
I am always under the impression and belief that it's like your growth is limitless. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I mean? Your potential, your capabilities, limitless.
Mm-hmm.
And you should have that same mindset with your partner. You should have that same mindset in terms of communicating and understanding and knowing that, like, I need to be a good person. I need to work on myself so then I can be the best person for my partner.
Exactly.
And then, uh, kind of what we said earlier, you
And
are what you attract. Hopefully, you then attract somebody who's also in that same mindset. I don't know, like, you can also tell when you're with the right person because, like, the right person will elevate you. You
yeah,
know what I mean? And they'll lift you up. And
exactly.
it might not necessarily be in a financial way or in a status way or in those monetary like trivial ways.
That's right.
Sometimes it's in an emotional way.
That's right.
Sometimes it's in a, oh, now you communicate better. Oh, now you show up better. Or
No, 100%. So there is that opportunity for men to express themselves
mhm,
in a relationship. Like you phrased it beautifully. And unfortunately, there is a number of women that stand on the opposite of that, that push men towards a place of, you know, suppressing their
mhm,
emotions, push them in a place where they can't express themselves. And that's an unfortunate position to be in,
yeah,
right? But like you rightfully said, if you, again, are in a place of healing or a place of growing, whatever it is that you're at, it's a matter of matching that energy with somebody that's also in a healing phase or in a process of getting better and progressing
yeah,
and continue to look forward so that, like I said before, as I began to have a list of the person I'm looking for and understanding what I value as a
mhm,
man and attracting that kind of behavior, attracting that kind of, not behavior, but the character,
mhm,
the same qualities in a person, you find that you will find your person or the person that will help you have that openness to
yeah,
express. And it works both ways. She can express, and I love
absolutely.
the friend that this. Well, I don't know if it's your friend, but the woman that you spoke of,
Mhm.
that has weekly meetings with her man. I'm like, yo, where is she at?
Does she have a twin?
No, I got a twin. I got a sister. I know. So for me, that's beautiful to be able to have that openness and talk to your
Mhm.
partner, and because it's a team effort, right? So
Yeah,
to go back to your question, man, absolutely have the opportunity, but just a matter of who the right person is to
yeah,
express yourself to, right?
absolutely. So we're now going to get into the balance break. Okay.
Okay.
So every time I tell you the titles, you're like, okay.
Yeah. I was trying to understand. Okay, sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so with the balance break,
Okay.
this is kind of where we dive a little bit more deeper. We dive more into the
Mm,
mental, into the mind.
mm,
So it's more so about yourself, but we're going to focus in a little bit more on the mind
okay.
aspect of it, okay?
Okay.
The first question I have for you: what advice would you give to your younger self
Mm.
regarding mental health, being a man, and mindsets you had to change or break?
My younger self. Now
Yeah.
I'm trying to imagine what age is this person. I guess from what I've learned, because I'm now 32,
Mhm.
to my younger self, I'd say don't focus too much on what everybody is focused on, but try to make sure that you align yourself with your beliefs.
Mhm.
Because I personally spent a lot of time derailed and doing things that I shouldn't be doing, walking the paths that I shouldn't have been walking.
Yeah.
That's one advice I'd give myself to in terms of growing
Yeah.
as a man, because I feel like I would have been mentally
Mhm.
stronger at an earlier age. And with that being said, parents, one thing about my mom, I'll just speak to myself. One thing about my
Yeah.
mom, she gave me the opportunity, talking about expressing yourself, she gave me that opportunity ample of times. She would actually ask me, is everything okay? It's a simple question,
But it's
but
the
it's
weight, the
the
power.
weight of that
Yeah.
question means a lot. And I didn't fathom the weight of that question at an earlier age.
Mhm.
When a partner or a friend asks me that question and they're sincerely looking into my eyes and asking me, is everything okay?
Yeah.
They see something within me that is not okay
Yeah.
because they know me.
Mhm.
They've had an understanding of who I am. So, understanding the younger version of myself, there are parts where I was not okay.
Yeah.
And hearing my mom ask me, are you okay? I, I would advise myself to be open and express and tell her what you're feeling.
Yeah.
So that goes back to the beginning of align yourself with your values and be comfortable enough to receive help when it comes
Yes.
and take hold of opportunities as they come.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'd advise myself, don't waste time of all the opportunities that you get and focus on the day to day. Be consistent.
Yeah.
Consistency is actually the key. And realizing that until this biggest advice I give myself, keep your head down, be consistent in your values, be consistent in your belief, be consistent in your goals, be consistent in your journey. And until you win, realize that effort goes unnoticed and it's
Yeah.
fine.
Yes.
And it's fine.
Yep.
And that was my issue. I thought that I needed to be acknowledged for every milestone.
Yep.
I learned to pray, acknowledge me.
Yep.
I did a sermon, acknowledge me. I graduated, acknowledge me.
Yep.
I accomplished this, acknowledge me. No, no, no. Keep growing,
Yep.
be consistent, and let people see you for you.
Yep.
Don't try to show people who you are.
Yep.
Let them see you. Your
Yep.
actions will speak.
Yes.
So that is examples and things that I'll tell myself.
I love that. And I mean, obviously, I have things that I could tell little Carrie, but in the sense of again for men's mental health, if I look into because I have brothers, I have older brothers and I have younger brothers,
Mm-hmm.
um, and I saw things that they had to go through, and whether they expressed it to me or not, I see the struggles they went through, and if there's anything I could tell any younger men, I think it's like you nailed it perfectly. You know what I mean? Keep your head down and just like don't worry about what everyone else is doing. Your 20s, you're you're a baby in the grand scheme of life still. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like you still have so much life to live and so many lessons to learn. So enjoy it. You know what I mean? And appreciate it because before you know it, it'll be gone.
Mm-hmm.
And so take that time, like you said, keep your head down, just focus, do what you know is right, and and worry about you. I think that is something that I would love to say to any of the younger generation, especially of men that are growing up. Be honest. If you're not okay, it is okay to not be okay.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, do you know how many people walk around on a day-to-day basis and are not okay? I think the minute we realize that it is okay to not be okay, it is okay to not have everything figured out in the moment. Once we give ourselves that grace, then it opens the door for us to start brainstorming and start finding solutions to those problems and starting to heal and grow. So I would say for me, those are the things I would tell the younger men, the younger generation.
Okay.
Um, my next question for you.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything else that you can think of that you think would help men start healing from generational trauma and emotional neglect?
I'll start from a personal standpoint. Like my father passed when I was like 7. Not even early. I was 5. So I grew up with a single mom,
Okay.
right? So there's that stigma of growing up with a single mom. You may not have had a male figure in your life to
Mm-hmm.
help you to grow to be a man or to speak as man should speak or
Yeah.
to be a, I don't know, whatever quote unquote a man should be. But thankfully, again, for my mom, she had a way of giving me the opportunity to express myself and to be able to speak openly about what it is that I'm going through. So my advice to men and it would be look at the things or the positive people that are in your life that influence you, influence your life, influence your energy, influence your positivity,
Yeah.
influence the strength to be able to break free from those mental constraints.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that positivity and then try to generate it out of yourself to break it even more. We often look at the point that you made earlier. We go to a day to day and we just regurgitate the same thing. How you doing? I'm good. How's your day? It's going well. Like we
Yeah.
just say the same thing. Hey, hi, how are you? I'm good. You? Good. And they keep it moving.
Yeah.
But it's a point to men to actually do some self-evaluation.
Mm-hmm.
As a man, I had to do self-evaluation. A, I didn't grow up with a father. That's okay. But I had a positive energy coming from my mom. I had a platform that allowed me to be vulnerable. I had somebody that I could focus on and say, okay, I could learn from this person. I can build my identity from the values I'm learning from this person.
Absolutely.
So if you can focus on the positivity that is within your life and try to build upon that, I think that is a great foundation. If you don't, then it's fine. Make the changes that you want to see. So, my advice would be to focus on your identity as a person, regardless of being a man, regardless of what the society says, as a person.
To what you said to that, like, yes, we have things that have gone through our lives, you know what I mean? And we all have a story. We all have things that we've been through,
Mm,
but don't let those things define who you are. Like, we are a product of our environment, yes, but that doesn't mean that that is the end all be all.
hmm
That doesn't mean there's no room for growth or there's no room for change. And I really appreciate you opening up about like your past and like
hmm
your upbringing.
Yeah.
It made me think about my oldest brother. So my oldest brother Kevin, he lives down south, down in Florida. And he is a phenomenal father. And his mother passed away because we all have the same dad, different moms, so he's my half brother. But his birth mom, she passed away, I would say pretty much from birth. Like he was
Mm,
very, very young a baby. So he doesn't actually have any like true memories of her.
yeah.
And then my father, hot topic. Not a lot of me and my siblings have a great relationship with him.
Okay.
And he wasn't always the most present.
All
Um,
right.
and so my brother, for a good chunk of time, was raised by my grandmother, or by my grandparents. But even my grandfather, he passed away, I would say fairly young. And so then, boom, right there, my older brother lost another
Mm,
male figurehead. So that was two that he's now missing from his life that could kind of, lead that example. And my grandmother, God rest her soul, was an amazing woman and she did the best that she could. And that's all our parents really can do. And my mother as well, like she stepped in as much as she could to also be kind of that caregiver for my
mm,
oldest brother, and they still have a very close relationship,
okay. Yeah.
which is beautiful. But I look at everything my brother went through, and not really having one a healthy role model, and then a role model that he did have also being taken away from him.
Yeah.
To see how he took his environment and his situations and his circumstances, and then did exactly what you said, looked at it and was like, okay, these are things that I will do. These are things I won't do. This is what I want for my life, for my children, for my family. This is what I don't. This is what I want to be like. This is what I don't. And he did that. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And I see how his kids, he has two daughters and one son. And my two nieces, they're much older. They're 23, and my nephew, I think he's 8 or 9 now.
Okay.
But either way,
Yeah.
so there's a decent age gap.
Okay.
But to see the love that each one of them have for my brother, the way how if they have an issue, they feel safe being able to talk to him, the
Mm,
way how he handles them, and the way how he parents and grows them, and to see how like there's love there. You know what I mean? And
oh
again,
wow.
instead of taking his hurt that he
Yeah.
experienced and re-inflicting that and continuing that generational trauma,
Yeah.
he was like, okay, this ends with me. This
Exactly.
ends here.
Exactly.
And this is where I want to make a change. We need to stop blaming others and start taking accountability for ourselves. Instead of repeating that curse, because I also recognized
Mm,
through dating, I was dating men that subconsciously were like my father
mm.
when I was unhealed, when I was
Oh, okay.
unfocused and
Yeah.
unworking on myself, I was dating men that had similar traits towards him.
Oh
And
wow.
then I would always ask myself when it didn't work out, I didn't this know. And it's like, well, look at what you're doing. Look
Yeah.
what we're doing. I looked at it and I was like, okay, I don't want that for my children though. I want them to know that their father will always love them, but also has their best interest at heart, and that they feel that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because also there are some times where, and I've seen it even through friends where you can tell their parents love them or you can tell their father loves them, but the way they're expressing it maybe isn't the most healthy.
Oh yeah.
And so
Oh yeah.
I think again it's that hurt people, and he doesn't know how to express love to you. He doesn't know how to show you his hurt or his he doesn't know how to handle his own emotions. And
Yeah.
so you're kind of dealing with a grown child.
Mm,
It's not that they don't love you, it's not that they don't maybe want to try, it's just they might not know how,
exactly.
and they were never given those tools, and they don't have the strength themselves to be able to put the work in to do better. It's just not sitting in your pain, and
Exactly.
I think it's and not becoming like a product of your pain. You know
Exactly.
what I mean? Like you can you can feel what you need to feel. You can have your story, you can have your hurt, but now take that and grow from it. So,
Nah.
we're going to get into our next segment,
Okay.
which is unapologetically selfish.
Okay. All right.
I love this. Okay. So this is about, I mean, usually it's more about just like, okay, how do you, focus on you and how do you be selfish? Because I'm all about trying to take some of those words that are traditionally viewed as negative and
Mm.
trying to rebrand them into, I guess, in a more positive light. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Restructure them
Mhm.
and understand and see that, like, hey, it's okay to be selfish sometimes. Hey, it's okay to be delusional sometimes, which I
Yeah.
spoke about in my last segment. And, like, it's okay for
Mhm.
some of these more, like I said, traditionally negative terms to rephrase them and rebrand them
Yeah.
into more positive light. I think the first one I'm going to ask you is what's a trait often labeled as feminine that you think more men should embrace?
That is an interesting question.
Yeah.
Viewed as feminine that men should
Yeah.
embrace.
Or at least that shouldn't be stigmatized as feminine.
It's hard for me to fathom a trait that could be seen feminine that men are afraid to express.
Okay, can I give you two?
Yeah, give me one.
So the first one I can think of, which I'll give, I guess, the trivial one, is dancing.
But see, that's not a. That's not
Oh,
a.
I said it's trivial. I said it's trivial.
All right, fine, fine. Okay, 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 okay. Okay.
There are so many men who see dancing as feminine.
No,
Yes, yes. I
nah.
promise you, there are men, it doesn't matter what race, doesn't matter what culture, who have sat there and told, because I love to dance, okay? And I don't
Hmm.
need alcohol to dance. I actually, I don't really drink like
Okay,
that.
that's fair, that's fair.
So for me, it's like I'm a dance, and I don't even care. I'm a line dance. Okay, I'm gonna do the robot. I'm gonna sit there and I'm gonna wind up my waist. With that being said, there's also been so many guys that I've, whether it's friends
Hmm.
or partners, me
Maybe they just can't dance.
no, that's bullshit. I don't believe
No,
that.
but another thing why as soon as you said dancing, why I had that initial reaction was because even at your wedding, bro, even if you don't want to dance, you know how to sidestep. That's dancing. Nobody's asking you to, to do the worm. Nobody's asking you to do the Harlem Shake. Like,
Yeah.
just move side to side. Just move a little bit. Like, so the men to me that view it as a feminine trait, I'm like, do you know what dancing actually is? Let's get out of the different genres of dancing. Your body moving in a rhythmic motion
Yeah.
is dancing.
Yeah.
If there's a beat going on and I'm doing this,
Yeah.
I'm dancing.
Yeah.
I don't move my hands, but I'm dancing. So these men at some point have listened to some sort of music and they've done this.
Yeah.
They've
But they
bopped.
see that as feminine. I'm telling you, I
So they
know.
wouldn't even do this. They wouldn't bop their heads.
Like it's weird. So I mean, okay, yes, they're gonna bop their head.
They're dancing. It's over. Okay, let's talk to the men. Men, please. Dance is just dancing.
Okay.
Let's just put it that way. Dancing is just dancing. It doesn't mean you're feminine. Even if you're afraid or to look dumb or afraid to dance, whatever it may be, I've noticed, for example, I had an uncle.
Yeah.
He always said it was like, "Oh, dancing. That's
Hmm.
back to." It's like, "Oh, that's like that's like you little boys and women. You guys do that. We don't.
Men don't
Men don't
dance.
dance.
Yeah.
He's man is 50." And I'm like, "Uncle, bullshit. Like dancing is whatever." We
Yeah.
went to my cousin's wedding. This is 2019.
Okay.
So my uncle's the type of person where he's very open,
Okay.
says whatever's on his mind. You cannot filter this man.
Straight shooter. Okay.
Straight shooter. So he had a speech because he's my cousin. He's a brother of my cousin's father,
Okay.
but my uncle, the one that I'm not speaking of, her father was in Zimbabwe,
Yeah.
so he couldn't make it for the wedding.
Oh, okay.
So his brother stepped in as
Okay.
the father for the wedding.
Yes.
So he had a speech.
Okay.
Everybody was shook. Everybody's afraid,
Oh.
right? Because like, well,
What's he gonna say?
this
What's he
man's
gonna
all speak. Telling you, nobody slept the
do?
night before the wedding. My aunt, my mom, my cousin,
Yeah.
her husband, or future husband, fiance at the time, and a family friend, another family friend, my other cousin, her brother,
That the whole
all there
generation.
in this room, and I'm just chilling. I'm like, bro, I don't care. Like, I want to sleep.
kill me.
I'm like, it's Unc, bro. He's gonna say whatever he's gonna
No
say.
matter what, watch
But
out.
anyway, so he's been that person where people have been afraid what he's gonna say, what he's gonna do, and he's always stood by the fact that I don't dance,
Yeah.
you know. So I remember at this wedding, 2019,
Yeah.
music is bumping.
Okay.
So I was the DJ.
Okay.
My cousin gave me the reins, like, yo, play whatever. So, you have to service to your crowd, right?
Right.
And the crowd that, of course, we had the older generation
Ooh,
of
yeah.
Zimbabweans, and my cousin's husband, his family, their background is Irish. Everybody's Canadian, but their background is Irish.
Okay.
So I had some like old school Irish music. I talked to the in-laws.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, so what's the traditional Irish music? It's like,
Mm.
and the father told me. So I had like everything for everybody.
Oh, they jigging.
Oh yeah,
They
they're
jigging.
bumping. So I'm playing the tunes that I know my uncle likes, a specific artist that he likes,
Yeah.
and then it's like he's just doing one of these in his chair,
Yeah.
and I walked up to him. I'm like, Uncle, you know you're dancing, and then he's like, Nah, this is not dancing. I'm just moving.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, Uncle, get up from me. So he got up, and I'm like, I just want you to move side to side with me.
Yeah.
I'm not asking you to dance.
Yeah.
I said move side to side.
Yeah.
Move side to side. And then he just moves side to side. He's like doing this. I'm like, man, you dancing, bro. he's like, he's like, no, I don't dance. This is not dancing. He's like, I'm gonna sit down. And I grabbed him. My other cousin, we grabbed him.
Yeah.
And I'm like, nah. And I went to get my aunt, his wife. I'm like, hold your mans.
Yeah.
So she's holding him. And then we play a slow song. And
I
then,
love it.
oh, and he was in there.
I
Oh, my guy was in
love
there. So
it.
I'm just like, and then that stigma or the whatever it was he was going through in his mind, maybe he was afraid to dance or whatever it was, but it was washed away. Like, he was holding his woman. He was the song that artist that he likes. It was a slow song, and he just moving side to side, and he got lost in the music, and we
I love
recorded
it.
it. To this day, he denies dancing, but the man danced in 2019. Sometimes it just takes just a little bit of a push with anything. Like, just try
Absolutely.
it. Like, I know you're afraid, but just try it.
Yo, my boyfriend's the same way. Like because again, I love to dance, and I
Yeah.
was just like, listen, you're gonna have to get over whatever fear, inhibition, yada yada yada. Like, get over it.
Mm.
Like, I love to dance, or sit in the sidelines, but I'm gonna be hopping up and moving.
Yeah.
And it was his cousin's wedding last year. She had all like the classic hits, and like obviously you have like your YMCA, your Cha Cha Slide, and even
Yeah.
other songs. You're just like, oh shit, I forgot about this song.
Yeah.
You're dancing.
Yeah.
And again, I'm up dancing right away. I don't need no poking or prodding. I'm like, yeah, let's go. Let's get this party started. And Mika's aunt, who's his cousin's mom, also loves to dance. So all of us are just up, we're vibing, we're dancing, we're doing our thing. And he's like, at first he was like, no, I don't want to dance. No, I don't dance. I don't dance. And
Mm.
I was like, babe, shut up. Just come up and dance.
Yeah.
So he comes up, and I think it was maybe it was a slow song. I don't remember what it was, but something where like you probably gonna want a partner to dance
Mm.
with.
Mm.
So we're dancing and whatever. And then, I mean, I think he had a little liquid courage that helped him. But before you know it, this man is sitting there doing all these dance moves. And I'm sitting there looking at him like,
Like,
I
huh?
thought you don't dance. But I was so proud. And like the photographer, they grabbed photos. And you can see us like dancing. You can see him like doing certain movements.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, we got it on
You
camera.
know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that stigma is just dumb, and I wish it would go away. Because yeah, I don't even think it has anything to do about being feminine. I think it's
Mm.
just you're scared of whatever.
Yeah.
In reality, who cares? That's the first one, and then the second one, a little bit more on the deeper side now.
Okay.
Because I hear so many men sit there and tell me that like, oh, like, well, chicks cry, crying's for chicks, chicks for like, and they might even say it directly like that, but they phrase like that, and I know that touches on so many things that we've already spoken about, and why like that's unhealthy, and why some men might have that
Mm.
viewpoint, but at the end of the day, like, to wrap everything we set up from earlier,
Yeah.
I just want that stigma to skedaddle. I want it to go. At the end of the day, it is not a man versus woman thing. It is a human thing. Okay?
Mm.
Humans
Mhm.
cry. We produce tears. It is a natural response, and it is a sense. It's a source of relief. And when you don't relieve yourself, you have that bottled up, and like you
Yeah.
said, it creates aggression, animosity, and again, now you have all this hurt, and it just manifests in so many unhealthy ways.
Mhm.
And even too, like, I can't remember who it was. Someone at work was sitting there, and they were just like, they're stressed. They're telling me all this stuff, and And while they're listing off all these like financial stresses, like relationship stresses, then they start bringing up the physical, and they're just like, man, and like, man, now like I can't lose weight. I have this like this stubborn whatever. And I just looked at him and I was like, you need to cry. And he kind of looked
Mm.
at me. He's like, "What?" And I'm like, "You need to cry, or you need to do something, but you need to release the stress." Because I was like, "Your body has a crazy way of dealing with stress and manifesting, and also holding on to stuff.
Mm.
And you don't like oftentimes, even just like physical weight. Sometimes that stubborn whatever that you're holding on to that you
Yeah.
can't lose
Yeah.
is because of what's going on up here and that stress and the
Yeah.
stress hormones that are causing you to hold on to that. Because that's what your body does when you are stressed.
Hmm.
Your body will hold on to weight. Your body will
Hmm.
hold on to things because it thinks that you're in de-stress and that
Hmm.
if it doesn't do that you will die. And
Hmm.
your body's sole purpose is to keep you alive without you even thinking about it.
I want to touch on a few things that you said, but I'll
Yeah.
start with the story. There was an aunt of mine. Like I was when I was younger. She had visited us for a couple of days or whatever.
Yeah.
This one I was 7 years old,
Okay.
and I was in Zimbabwe. This is right before we came here,
Mhm.
and I remember seeing her cry,
Okay.
like legit cry,
Like sobbing.
sobbing.
Okay.
And at a young age, obviously, I didn't know what was that all about.
Yeah.
And obviously, I'm not gonna ask a grown woman, "Oh, are you crying?" But I had that what you call that uh, empathy
Mm-hmm.
or sympathy,
Empathy. Yeah.
empathy, yeah.
Yeah.
To go and approach and be like, "Auntie, you okay?" And then she smiled, all right, and she just felt happier in seeing me, so she helped me. We talked,
Mm-hmm.
and then fast forward, there was another time, same aunt.
Okay.
This is about 2 days before we actually, well, I don't know it's exactly 2 days, don't quote me
Yeah.
on that, but a few days before we actually flew to come here,
Okay.
she was staying with us, helping us pack and everything and all
Yeah.
that. And I remember saw her cry.
Okay.
No word of a lie. I was reminded again, and she's a woman that at the time she wasn't married, she wasn't seeing
Oh,
anybody.
okay.
She was, I called my aunt. Um, at the time she was 24, and she was crying. And I'm like, so this time I asked and I said, Auntie, why are you always crying alone? And then it comes to a point of, she taught me this lesson. She's like, in our own language,
Mm-hmm.
I just needed to let it out. She's like, sometimes you just have to let things out. And I said, okay. I didn't understand a single thing. I was 9, right?
Yeah.
But now as a man, speaking about having a good cry, I remember I watched a TV show and it was it Everybody Loves Raymond? I think I can't remember. And his wife was just crying, and she's just like, I just needed to have a good cry.
Yeah.
Like, I just need to let these emotions out, this stress out. And she felt better afterwards.
Yeah.
Like, she felt extremely relieved,
Yeah.
and she can go back to her whatever tasks that she was going back to do.
Mm-hmm.
But as the man in the relationship, Raymond, he was confused. He
What
was like,
just happened?
what? Because like when we associate crying with sadness or with something really difficult that you've gone through, so you need to cry or you need to show emotion, and but men begin to see it as weak because a lot of women feel comfortable to express that emotion, to express that trait that we're talking about.
Yeah.
So, because a lot of women feel comfortable doing it, a lot of men or a number of men feel uncomfortable because now it's depicted as a feminine thing.
It's funny. I'll see men cry tears from laughter
Yeah,
more than I will them crying from like sadness. And I'm just like, bro, it's the same thing. You're still crying.
it's
Whether
just not.
it's from laughter or from happiness or from sadness or, man, even from being scared or whatever. It's your body's natural way of releasing.
Men should realize it's okay to cry, and I know it's also shows some men feel that if you do cry or show that sense of vulnerability, that it somehow diminishes your masculine energy or somehow just diminishes you as a man, but it doesn't. It's okay to show that emotion, to let those tears fall, even if you're sad, because like you rightfully said, you are in your happy moments when you're laughing, you cry, right? And the example I gave earlier, there's been times where usually when I'm watching an episode and I'm feeling like a sad moment about to come and I know it might affect me a certain way,
Mhm.
I might just like fast forward a little bit.
Oh my God, stop. And I'm saying that because Mina does the same
Yeah.
thing. He will fast forward, like we'll be watching, sorry, don't
Yeah,
get
go
me
ahead.
wrong.
Yeah, yeah.
We'll be watching a movie or a show, and
Yeah.
I'm like invested. I'm just locked in.
Yeah.
And before I know it, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I look at him and he's like, "Oh shit, sorry, I forgot that you're still like you're. I'm just used to fast forwarding." And I'm like, "But why?" And he's like, "Because it was a sappy part, it was an emotional part." And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Bro, get over it. Rewind that shit right now." Like,
Yeah.
so many men do it. Trust
No,
me.
yeah.
So
I thought I was the only one, right? So but what happened was this one time, admittedly, I was watching a show called 911. So episode 15.
yeah,
So I'm watching it. It's a regular, they're in danger, yeah, the drama, they're saving lives.
yeah.
So at the end of the day, even though one of the characters, Chimney, he was infected with this
Mm-hmm.
bacteria disease. So like, yeah, they draw the drama, the visuals, so you're feeling it,
Yeah,
but
you got
you,
a baby
but
on the way,
yeah,
like,
you're like, oh, Chimney's cool, right? So you just focus on Chimney, like, he's coughing blood, and then it's like, it's fine, it's cool,
and they cut close.
and then okay, so they cut close. Chimney's almost dead,
Yes,
right?
he
So they,
literally is on.
oh my gosh, so they're like, what's going to happen? So they find a way to like make sure he's good. Now everybody gets saved. We all anticipated that. And then next thing you know, Captain Bobby Nash closes the damn door. So like when you're watching a show and it's about to come to an end or you're feeling it's about to come to an end,
Yeah,
you kind of pause to see how much time is left.
and you're like,
You're trying to see, so you're trying to estimate to see what can happen in
yeah,
this two
what's
minutes or 3 minutes,
happen?
and you're trying to like, okay,
It's done.
like it's done. Like, yeah, why is it closing that? But there's like 3 or 4 minutes left of the show. Like, what are you doing? What? And bro, when my guy started coughing blood, I couldn't help it. Tears.
Bro,
Tears.
bro,
I was like, wait, I'm crying? I
bro.
was like, what's going on? Like literally, I was so invested in
Yeah,
Bobby Nash in the show, in his
crazy.
story. Yeah. So that got me. So I'm usually able to stop myself from crying, but I didn't anticipate. So why I brought up secondhand embarrassment was because usually I can anticipate and pause it, but I didn't see it coming.
No, that was a
It was so my I couldn't control my tears. They were just like flowing. I'm like, oh, this is happening now. So it is what it is.
yeah,
So and in that moment, I was like, you know what? It's okay, bro. Like you felt something. Speaking of men out there, it's fine to cry. It's okay.
100%, 100%.
And if you're not comfortable to cry in front of people, I had a colleague that lost his son, and he never showed any sign of the loss that he had just faced.
Yeah,
As we spoke, like conversation was just as normal.
yeah.
But admittedly, he told me when I'm not around you guys, when I'm in my own room,
Mm,
I am crying,
bawling.
letting it out,
Yeah,
everything.
yeah.
Because I know that once I do that here, I can be okay out there.
It's true. And like I can relate to that in a small scale in terms of uh so 2019, I spoke about this before. I lost my partner.
Mm,
My ex passed away. I kind of was in survival mode though because is when I was living in Fort Mac. I didn't have any family up there. It was just like, okay, yes, this tragedy happened, but
mm,
I still gotta survive.
mm,
And I was living with him, so it's like I now have no home, and I was a student, so I wasn't really working yet, and I was like, I got no money, no home. Anyways, my best friend let me stay with her, and okay, boom, checked. And then I ended up getting a job with the city. Okay, boom, money, job, cool. So I'm at work, and weirdly enough, even though Fort Mac's a small town, a lot of people that I worked with didn't know about what had just happened.
okay.
And he was well known in that town, so a lot of people knew.
Mm-hmm.
But thankfully, the people I worked with didn't. I just put on a brave face. I didn't talk about it. I didn't bring it up. And for a moment, it was also a way that I didn't have to confront those feelings.
Okay.
They ended up finding out. I think it was like a month or two later, and then they were like, "Wait, so this whole time you've been grieving and going through that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, but it's fine," is
Mm-hmm.
what I would say. And they're like, "For there was never a second where we thought that you were going through anything beyond just like normal day to day. Like we would have never
Wow.
known that
Yeah.
you had just went through what you went through." So like I can totally like sympathize and empathize with like your colleague and anyone else, but at the end of the day, it's letting it out. Normally, what we would be jumping into would be power to the people,
Mm.
as well as confidence catalyst. But we ain't doing that today. So
Fair enough. All right.
I have three kind of mini games that we're gonna do.
All right.
Okay.
Mm.
So the first one is a classic game of Would You Rather. I just have five questions. Okay.
Okay.
You're not allowed to justify.
Why I'm picking the one, not the other?
Yeah.
So I'm just picking.
You're just picking. I might ask you after, but
Okay, fair,
yeah,
fair,
yeah.
fair,
You
fair.
say yours, I'll say mine, and then maybe
Oh,
we'll.
it's gonna be fun. Okay. All right.
So, would you rather
Mm.
talk to your 18-year-old self
Okay.
or meet your 60-year-old self?
Meet my 60-year-old self.
Interesting.
Facts.
Me, it'd be 18-year-old self.
Am I allowed to ask why?
Sure.
Okay, why?
Uh, I think because I would love to instill the wisdom that I have now on my
Mm.
18-year-old self. So if I could go back in time and at least talk to 18-year-old Carrie and be like, hey, homegirl, listen up. Here's what we're not gonna do, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And like, you still gotta make mistakes, you still gotta learn, you still whatever. I might not share everything,
Mm-hmm.
but maybe some of those more like pivotal, like larger items
Mm-hmm.
that I could have done without in my life. I'll be like,
Okay.
you know what?
Mm-hmm.
Here's what you're not gonna do, okay?
Okay.
Do XYZ, don't
Okay.
do XYZ.
Okay.
You see that person, stay away from that person.
Okay.
And then
That's fair.
boom. And of course that's gonna change the trajectory of my life
Yeah.
now. I get that. I know.
Okay.
But I think I would be very meticulous and
Mm-hmm.
strategic in the sense where it's like it might not be massive changes,
Mm-hmm.
but I think just like little tweaks. Yeah, yeah.
All right, cool. So why I said 60? Because what I'm thinking about my life now and things that I want to do,
Yeah.
I'm very curious to see if I get it done. So I'm very curious to talk to my 6-year-old self and say, "Hey, homie, are we good? Like, did we do it? Did we retire at 55?
Yeah.
Did we actually retire my mom? Did we get her? Did we finish the house that she wanted to build in Zimbabwe? Did we accomplish all these things that I want to do? Did I find my wife? Did I have children?
Yeah.
For me, it's a point of curiosity because it's like the way that I feel now, I feel like I am able to do it and that I'm going to do it.
Absolutely.
So it's a level of curiosity to see, did I do it? And if I did, how long did it take me? And what journey did I take?
Question two.
Mm-hmm.
What would you rather let go?
Mm.
And in terms of let go, I mean like get crazy and never be able to deal with again. Your beard or your fade?
Damn.
Mm.
Yeah, I look like a so like I don't have a beard per se, but I have enough of a scruff
Yeah.
to not look like a baby.
Okay.
Asked me that 4 or 5 days ago when I had to like be clean shaven for a mass fit test.
Yeah.
I looked at myself in the mirror and I'm like, bro, this is not it.
Stop.
But with that being said,
Yeah.
I need my fade, bro.
You need to line up.
I
You
need
need
my
everything.
lineup. I need to be crisp. This can be crisp and this could be baby. That's fine.
Amazing.
Eyebrows are here.
Damn, why you gotta go there? Wait, but I mean, you have to go bald, like no eyebrows.
Yeah, no eyebrows. All forehead.
Damn. That's it. All four. Extra six at that point. Okay. He lashed
Yeah.
it. I'll be on my list like
Okay,
that.
yeah.
And I'm actually very emotionally attached to my hair, like disgustingly
So
emotionally
eyebrows
attached.
gone.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
to go.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, I'll be
Fair.
a Caillou any day. Well, not that way, but okay, I'm
Hi,
chilling.
you. Okay, all right.
Anyways, okay. I think we kind of already touched on this one, but
Mm-hmm.
would you rather cry in the shower or cry to music?
Shower.
Really?
Mm. How about you?
To music? Because I can just blame it on the music. I'll be like, oh, sorry, I just got caught.
Now, for me, it's like the thing about going beyond just the shower, right?
Okay.
I've been crying in the shower. The shower, I don't know about you, I don't know about people that are gonna watch this or listen to this, but I find myself, I'm able to think in the shower. I'm
Oh,
able to just be calm and go through a checklist or go through certain emotions, certain feelings while I'm in the shower. I don't know what it is about the water hitting my head
don't kill
that
me.
I'm just in this place of like self and just understanding.
True peace and like Zen.
Yeah, exactly. Just I'm just zen in that moment. So if I'm crying and I'm letting it out, it is in that safe space that I've created of peace and just being in the shower and just letting everything out. I'm cleansing my soul as I'm cleansing my body. That's why I prefer the shower is because it's just the whole process of it is just all cleanliness, you know? Crying is, like you said, relieving.
You know, I'm a two for oneer though. Like I'm a
Mm,
twofer because I listen to music when I shower, so I get best of both worlds. Would you rather have to compliment every guy you see or
mm-hmm.
hug them every time you see them?
Compliment. That's not. I'm gonna let you finish that question because a compliment goes a long, long
Oh,
way.
I didn't think
Sometimes,
about that.
exactly, and a lot of people, when you talk about love languages,
Yeah.
theirs is
Words of
words of
affirmation.
affirmation. Exactly. So, and a lot of people, although they may find themselves on a different scale with
Mm-hmm.
those love languages, words of affirmation, it goes a long way
Oh,
with
yeah.
majority of people.
Okay, last one for
Yeah.
the would you rather.
Okay.
Okay, ready?
Mm.
You rather be stuck in traffic with your ex or your boss?
How long is traffic?
Like bumper to bumper,
Damn.
ain't no moving. You're stuck like gridlocked for like at least 2 hours, 2 3 hours.
Yeah, my ex though. Nah, my ex. I thought about it
I
and
know your boss is. I don't blame you. Just that voice.
yeah, yeah, nah. Cause like even I drive with her, especially now because I'm going back to work on Tuesday, right? And I'm always thinking, oh, yo, it's 14 minutes to get there.
Oh, you counted down too, eh?
You know, because you do it, you think in your mind, I'm like, bro, 14 minutes, like, what am I going to talk about? So sometimes I literally go into my mind and I think about conversation, like topics, that in case there's a dead moment, if she's not complaining about a coworker or something that happened or someone did, because I could take 14 minutes, because she,
She'll go.
if she's not, then I'm like, okay, so how's the weekend? How's cool? This I have things, a list to say to pass the time. Yeah. So for that reason, yeah, I would be stuck with my ex all day.
Alrighty.
Okay.
So I technically have two more games,
Okay.
but we're going to kind of rapid fire them. So the first one is called Break the Man Code.
All right.
Okay. And okay,
Confusion.
I didn't create this title. Okay. This is straight
Break the
GPT.
man code.
Okay.
Okay. All
Okay. Mr. AI
right.
or Miss It, whatever the hell it is.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask you a question
All right.
and I want you to kind of like spark notes it to me, like give me a response, but like just summarize it.
Gotcha.
Okay, ready?
Okay.
So, is it okay for men to post thirst traps?
No.
Just no?
No.
Okay.
No, it's absolutely not okay.
Just no.
No.
Okay. Have you ever complimented another man and felt awkward about it?
Yes.
Really?
Only, yeah, I have only because of their reaction.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I complimented this years ago.
Mm,
He's an acquaintance, not a friend.
yeah.
And I was like, "Oh man, I was just being nice. I was like, I like the fit. You look good, bro." And he's like, "What do you mean I look good?" I'm like, "You you got a nice fit." And then
Totally.
he's like, "Bro, I don't like the way you said that." I'm like, so now I feel awkward. I'm like, should I not have said anything? Like, so anyways, yeah.
That's fair.
Mhm.
So this one's called pause or pass. It's really just like green flag, red flag. So, a girl slides into your DMs with a meme.
Pause.
Okay, we're good at that. I
Mm,
like that.
mm.
Okay, a guy friend asks if you want to talk about feelings.
Pause.
I love that.
Mm.
Okay. Your barber talks about astrology while cutting your hair.
Pass. Don't care, dog.
You know, Mercury is in retrograde.
Cool. Tell me about Venus.
Yeah, don't kill me.
Yeah.
Okay, she claps when the plane lands.
Pass. Pass, bro.
Oh, really?
Why you pass?
Okay. I know we're not supposed to be elaborating, but I just want to say, okay, listen, I'm not a clapper. Okay, I
Hmm.
don't like. Man, we fly too damn much for work as is. I'm not clapping every time we.
You
But
know, okay, go on. You say.
if it was a tumultuous plane ride, okay, if it was shaky, if it was crazy weather, if it was we are thanking God for being back on ground, you best believe I'm clapping. Okay.
That's why I was gonna interject because
Okay.
I was gonna say, okay, there's
Circumstance.
circumstances or certain scenarios
Where
that
it's
I'm
like,
like, you know what, cool.
okay, if it just says he says, but
Mm-hmm.
your bro, anyone,
Okay.
I don't believe in depression.
Pass.
Smart. That's
Question.
that's
Here we go.
toxic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. They have a burner account to stalk people.
Pass.
Really?
Who's they?
He, your bro,
Oh, he
your
has it.
friend?
Oh, okay. It's not a. I thought it was like when you said they, I meant as if like it was a female partner I'm trying to pursue.
Sure, even that, just anyone.
They have a burner account to stalk people.
Strictly to stop people.
Pass.
Yeah.
Yeah, friend or partner.
And
Pass.
like, okay, just a quick story time on this.
Mm.
I'm totally gonna expose my ex. So my ex, what he used to do is he would make fake accounts and he would go on those fake accounts and troll himself from those fake accounts and then go on his actual account and screenshot what the trolls would say and be like, wow, look, this buddy's trying to say this or whatever to get a rise out of people and get that attention. Or also do just for like likes and whatever and for creeping. The only reason why I found it is because I thought he was cheating on me. I went through his thing because I just kept seeing these things pop up, and then I saw a name, and I'm like, bro, that's not your Instagram.
Yeah.
And especially since I have like a Lash account, and I do have other accounts, but they're for businesses.
Yeah.
I know what it looks like when you get a notification from a separate account than your personal
Mm.
account.
Yeah.
So I'm like, who the hell is Mr. blah 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 blah? And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, and then yeah, that's how I found out. I was like,
Mm.
that's an ick. And I want to delete it.
100%. That's why I passed.
Yeah. Okay. And this is the last one for pause or pass.
Okay.
She tells you your cologne reminds her of her ex.
Pass. Big pass.
Really?
Big
Okay,
pass.
what if you're wearing the same cologne that he wore?
But why she phrase it that way? It's different between like, oh, okay, that's oh my cologne. My ex had that cologne, or your scent. You smell like my ex, bro. Now I'm in my head, because what if one of the third and I'm ta da da da, and then it's like, how can I ta da 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 when I'm, she probably thinking about, you know what I'm saying? So yo, pass on that, bro. Here, take the cologne with you. Yeah, 100%.
I never thought of it that way, but like,
That is a wild. That's funny.
that's actually hilarious. Okay, well, that's all ChatGPT gave me,
Okay,
but
I
that's
like that. I like that segment. That was fun.
thank you.
Yeah,
Simba, it has been fantastic having you here.
yeah,
Thank
it's
you
been
so
awesome.
much.
No, I
Thank you
appreciate
for
it.
not ditching me like some of our friends.
Mm, those who shall not be named.
Yeah, and y'all know who you is. Okay.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
no, at the end of the day, everyone is okay. There is reasons, valid
Oh
reasons.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
of course, yeah.
But either way, I really appreciate you
No
coming
problem.
by, especially
Oh,
since
no
you're 3
worries.
minutes away. So if you didn't, I probably would have been like,
No, 100%. Like the distance to home is 3 minutes. It's,
I know, right?
oh, yeah, I'm good.
But either way, I really hope you had fun.
No, I did. It was awesome. This
Yes.
is a great production you got here. It's pretty amazing. You're doing your thing. Honestly,
Oh, I
congratulations.
appreciate that.
Congratulations.
You know what?
Yeah.
I'll give you your flowers. You are an outstanding human, and
Thank you.
I say that on behalf of everyone that I work with
Hmm.
because literally all I hear is, "Oh my God, somebody, he's so nice, he's so great." Like
Thank you.
nothing but amazing things are said about you,
Yeah.
and you are not only walking in your purpose,
Mhm.
but like you you are being your Boaz, and I
Mm.
love that.
You were
There you
listening. I like that. I like
go.
that. Yeah, that's
Like
good.
you made us title
Yeah.
card.
No, I appreciate that.
No,
Yeah,
but
no, it's kind of you.
of
No, thank
course.
you. I give you yours because this is an amazing production.
Thank
Yeah.
you. So that means I might be able to get you back as a guest again.
Oh, 100%. I'll be back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love to hear it.
Cool.
Well, that is all, guys. Thank you so much. I will be, linking Simba's info after I vet you to make sure you ain't crazy.
Yeah, yeah,
Telling
for
him
sure,
that
for
you smell
sure.
like his ex's cologne or your ex's cologne. Making
100%.
burner accounts to stalk people.
Facts. No,
Yeah.
kill me.
No, but it has
Appreciate
been
that.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Again, you're
And
welcome.
until next time, guys.
Sounds good.
I will see you. And just remember, it's Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. So be kind and show some love and support.